Scorning all treacherous feud and deadly strife, the dark stiletto and the murderous knife, we boast a science sprung from manly pride, linked with true courage and health allied. A noble pastime void of vain pretense, the good old English art of self-defense.
Hey YouTube, it's Chris Dyer and Mike, and we are doing a follow-up video on Owen Swift's The Handbook to Boxing, a Complete Instructor in the Art of Self-Defense. I think it's fair to say that we, after going through the lessons for that video, or for that book, we're not excited, we're not thrilled. We've done a lot of manuals so far in this series on old school boxing, and that one we decided to make an extra follow-up video over because it was so lacking, I think is the best way to put it. Well, how would you describe that book?
It's definitely uncomplicated. It lacked sophistication, I think. It lacked a certain technique, maybe.
Yeah, so if you haven't watched the other videos, what are you waiting on? Go watch those videos. And then come back here, and now I'll give you the follow-up on the thing. Owen Swift's entire thing, he's a one-trick pony. I step forward, and I punch Mike in the face. That's it. So that was kind of the answer to everything. This person tries to punch me in the gut, presuming they drop their head down. If they don't, I don't know. Maybe he does, and I punch him in the face. That's a great technique. Don't get me wrong, that's a fine technique. But my strategy is to lean back and step forward and punch him in the face. If he tries to grab me, I punch him in the face. One person pointed out in our comments on, I think, the first video was Owen Swift a fencer? It's a great thought. It's a great thought that we've talked about this before in the earlier manuals from the 1700s, that we have this fencing method of boxing, in which case we actually work on these things of finding that angle, step forward and throw a strike. And it's actually artful. There's a lot of skill. There's a lot of footwork, tons of footwork involved. There's parrying and defending and striking at the same time and switching the guard and all this stuff. It ain't there in Swift. Like, Swift just has this, just step forward and strike. And the argument that he makes is this is the new method of self-defense. This is the new method versus the old school, which is like the Daniel Mendoza era.
It's definitely been economized. I mean, they really cut down the body of work.
Yeah, it's not a thinking man's art. And it actually brings up a really, really good point that we've covered over and over in all of these manuals, is each one kind of starts with, or has an element of, what is more important, physical ability or the art, the craft of boxing? And I think it's not too much of a stretch to put Owen in the camp of art. What art? Is that a person I punch? No, like, there is none. It is, I step forward and I throw a punch. And this is like, Owen Swift was known as a deadly, he was said to have killed people in the ring, a deadly boxer. And I think he was just really good, really strong, and really devastating with his mentality of, I don't care what it is, I'm going to step forward and punch him in the face. And there is something to be said for that. Don't get me wrong. There are people out there. It reminds me of the first Rocky video. Like, it took him, what, 4 movies to learn how to block? It was just step forward and throw a punch. He wasn't very good at first. It's that mentality of just step forward and throw a punch that can win a lot of times. But if you're maybe a smaller person or not Owen Swift, that technique, that strategy ain't gonna work for you. So what are your thoughts on?
You bring up a good kind of counter argument. So is it the art or is it the martial artist? Is it the martial art or the martial artist? And there are edge cases on either side where you can have people that are very poor athletically and there is no art that can help them. And I don't mean that to disparage anybody in any way. People can have physical limitations. And there are arts, at times, definitely on the fringes, that no matter how athletically gifted a person is, they just aren't gonna work. I can think of a couple of no-touch kind of ideas that come to mind. Yeah, so in the middle, of course, you have the middle. You have, and a swath of athletically gifted, people that work very hard but may not be as gifted. You have arts that have proven very effective and arts that perhaps take a little more practice and polish for application. And so I think there's a huge swath there in the middle where you can make up ground here, or you can admit that, well, this technique takes a little more. It's like you say, a thinking man's game. And I think that this clearly falls under this. Owen Swift was clearly very, very talented at stepping forward and punching people in the face, which, as you mentioned, can solve some problems.
Yeah.
It's not going to solve all of them, however.
Yeah. The thing that kills me, though, is that in the title it's the complete instructor in the art of self-defense. What is the completeness about it? There's no footwork described. Blocking isn't a thing. Parrying, like blocking isn't the best thing to do. Like I've talked about this with my own students. You want to move, you want to deflect. You don't just simply block. I've talked about this a million times. In fact, the first time we broke like a couple hundred video views on our videos is on our series of Blocks Don't Work. But moving is essential, and there's just none of it. It's just like, it's lacking, in my opinion. So I think it's good to cover these things from time to time so that we're not just, oh, look at the old school blah, blah, blah about boxing. Like, there's definitely some duds out there. There's actually quite a few manuals, so I'm just like, I'm not going to do it. Like, there's 500 pages, and it's just a rehash of a lot of stuff. So I just wanted to do this follow-up video on our thoughts on it. Am I glad that I did this video? Absolutely. I think that this manual was really, really cool to see. Like, there's some historical context to it. Owen Swift directly translates or directly ties into the story of Savat, which we're actually covering French kickboxing right now in our video that we started, or on our manual that we just started this week. So without him fleeing to France, and the folks working in Savat at the time seeing English boxing, we wouldn't have had French kickboxing. We would have had French kicking, probably. So the historical part is actually really, really great. But as far as a complete manual of self-defense, I think there's better manuals. In fact, we're covering one right now. So I hope you guys liked this video. Let me know in your thoughts. This is definitely one of those ones where I really want to know what people think. I know there are some people that are just like, you got to give it more credit, blah, 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 but I don't. Like, I don't have to. That's my opinion on it. Let me know what your opinions are. You can put comments below. Thanks, guys.